This is one of my newest videos, and you'll know that if you've seen any of the work that I've done, I have, over the last 4 years, I've put many videos about rhythm and movement and audio levels onto my Body Brain Tech website. What I'm doing now is, this is a new video. It's called Listen, Clap, Wiggle, and the theme is specifically alphabet. We're going to do all kinds of other videos as well. But we're going to talk a little bit about how this video specifically works on sensory regulation and sensory modulation. And what I'm doing is, I'm putting these videos onto my membership site. And the reason I'm putting the videos on the membership site is because I'm putting the video for the child to follow along with, as well as this informational video, onto my membership site. I'm busy building a site where I'm not only going to put information on that I have created, I'm also going to really encourage a lot of collaboration and working together and talking together and really learning from each other about how children learn and how children achieve. And so this is my membership site, and at the moment I'm giving everybody that wants to get on 2 months free, just so you can see what it's about. And what you'll see is that there's going to be a lot of information put on here that's more than just a program for children to follow. It's really more for us to be talking together and collaborating. So let me tell you about this video called Listen, Clap, Wiggle. I believe this is an excellent movement and rhythm-based activity, and what it'll work on is sensory regulation, sensory modulation, and filtering. And as you see what the video is and why I've set it up this way, you'll see why it is that it works on all of these different functions and different skills for children. So you'll see that there are a few screens where it says wiggle, jiggle, move your body. And there are some cute little characters dancing around, and depending on all the different videos we'll make, some of them will be characters moving, some of them will be babies dancing around, some of them will be just movement things on the screen. But essentially, this is a time where your children can make their own movements. They do not have to follow the movements of the characters on the video. In some of the videos, there'll be characters, but in other videos, there won't be characters. So this is where your children make their own movements. They can be fast movements. It's supposed to be wiggle jiggle. You need to talk about safety. Make sure that children are not going to hurt themselves or other people. Some children are going to want to make massive, huge movements. Some of them are going to want to run around. Some of them want to make massive body movements. And this is where the modulation comes in. You'll see that other parts of the video is freeze, be still, don't move your body at all. Then there are parts of the video where it's clapping along in a very specific time to the beat. So this is a very strong sensory modulation and movement modulation video. During the wiggle jiggle time, you're going to have some children that want the big movement. Those are your sensory seekers. Those are the risk takers. Those are the ones that'll, when they are running around, they'll be jumping off the highest, wherever they can jump off of and climb up whatever playground equipment they have, and they are going to be the risk takers. And then there are the other children that are going to be children who don't want to move, and they are more cautious in terms of their movement and their sensory systems. And so what you really want to do is that your children that run around out of control, you really want them to be able to move a lot but with control. And your children that don't want to move, you really want to encourage them to move a little bit more. And you also want to make sure that, depending on the space you have, if you have a really big space, your kids can run around and do big movements as long as they're not going to hurt themselves and each other. And if you have a small space, they could still wiggle jiggle a lot, make sure they have space between each other, but not running around the whole room. And your children that are sensory sensitive and are more sensitive to touch, especially unexpected touch, you really don't want some of those children that are going to run around and do a lot more movement close to some of those. You really have to make sure you are sensitive to those children that are not going to want other children. And you don't want anyone bumping into anybody at all, but even just inadvertent small touches is really disruptive for some children. So anyway, as an adult or as a teacher or parent or therapist, you just do what you need to have your children do their wiggle jiggle movements. That's really creative movement at the wiggle jiggle times. Then there are parts of the video where it's freeze and listen. And what you'll see is children need to freeze. They need to stop movement. And this is a freeze that happens right after the crazy wiggle jiggle movement. So that's, again, sensory and movement control and modulation. And it's filtering because they're having to hear the beat, they're having to run around with wiggle jiggle, and they have to stop and listen to the beat. And it's filtering because they have to watch the instructions and listen to the instructions. So under freeze and listen, they hold a posture and they listen to the alphabet being read out with a specific beat. Following the freeze, they then clap in time to the beat, and they can also say the alphabet. And so that's really the cycle, is the pattern through the whole video is that it's the static posture with listening, then it's clapping in time, and then it's the random and fast movements. You will find that on my membership site. You'll find this video as well as that video that children can follow along on my membership site. So I'm really hoping that you guys sign up. You get 2 months to look at it and to try it out and to see what you think. Thanks.